I'm a big film trivia person, and one of the biggest learnings from film is watching your favorite directors talk about what went behind the scenes. So I'm going to talk you through a couple of scenes that we had some kind of inspirations, etc., from the Railwaymen, and I hope you enjoy it. Opening of episode 1 is this voiceover by Jagmohan Kumawat, and it captures a recreation of the real life event of Warren Anderson leaving India. So the interesting thing is that I think from a creative point of view, if you look at it, it has a very different style to the rest of the show. It's done very candid. It's done very, like, from a vantage point to feel like as if like the paparazzi is kind of capturing someone leaving to give you that feeling that someone is escaping. And it also has an interesting treatment of cutting with archival footage. We also shot at the Bhopal airport where this incident actually happened, and to get that kind of camera moves and match it, and to build that world out with everything. So that, I think it was really a lot of fun. So I think episode 2, the talked about part is there's this single shot in episode 2 where KK Menon's character Siddiqui sees the gas leak for the first time and runs through the entire station, understand, like, kind of figuring out what has just happened. I used to always call it the catharsis of Siddiqui, and the fact that a king is seeing his kingdom collapse. And I wanted to kind of treat this real time. So I wanted events in it to happen that would take his attention from one thing to the other, and he would he would want to be at multiple places at the same time. And the only way to kind of do this was to design this single one long shot out of the whole thing, which kind of takes you 360 around the station. So tons of background action. We had, like, I think 500-600 people that day, like, on the stations, on both platforms of the station. People would be running across, doing all sorts of things. So the AD team came up like intense prep for it. We had meetings like for days just to kind of figure what all could happen. And I remember on the day of the shoot itself, we took like 5-6 hours to rehearse it, and then we took like, I think, 8 or 9 takes. And just think about it, like, there are 500-600 extras. One mistake and you need to redo the whole thing. So I think the 9 take, lucky number 9, we got it right on the 9th take. Episode 3 is kind of like a different energy to the rest of the show. The first episode's like this, like simmering kind of setup till the gas leak. The second episode is obviously the gas leak. The third episode plays like a pre-climax to the fourth episode. But the third episode has one interesting section, which is a montage where you play on 3 different characters, which are the bride, the pregnant lady, which is Nafisa, the bride Sohini, and the reporter Kumawat. The crafting of this was very interesting to kind of do because, at one hand you had a pregnant lady who's expecting life. At the other hand, you had a bride who's lost her life, and like you think she's lost her life, but she comes like how what was happening that time. People were, coming, like they just lost consciousness, but you used to think they were dead and coming back. Some things survived. Like there's a dog in it. Like it hit the gas hit everyone differently. So the story said multiple kind of things. Also took you away from the station story and into the story of Bhopal. So we had, the Basti set, which was intercut with the live location of the tracks near the factory where Nafisa crosses the tracks. That's actually at the location of the factory. And then you had the gate of the Union Carbide factory. So you had these interesting kind of things to make up. And then you had this entire section where Nafisa's at the gate, Kumawat lands up there, his scooter crashes, and then there's this like single shot where her water breaks and he has to rush her to the hospital. It has like really nice transitions that, you have a shot of Imad's dead mother, and the next cut is the bride waking up. So you had a lot of like interesting weaving all of this together. So I think episode 4, I think more than a scene, it's a section of the story where all 4 tracks are going on parallelly. It's at the halfway mark where the Gorakhpur Express now, the 3 minutes are up and the Gorakhpur Express has to leave from the Bhopal Junction station. So how this is placed is that Divyendu and KK sir are together. KK sir, the alarm rings, KK sir has to move towards the back of the train, Divyendu's in the front of the train. Babil has gone to give this train a green signal, and Maddie's approaching from the other side. So that's how it's kind of set up. It sounds very easy right now, but imagine that there's a train which is like 15,000, 1,500 feet long, but you're shooting on a station that is only 500 feet. And these are like super emotionally charged scenes because everyone is at the peak of their character arcs, and from here things start changing for them. So I think it was very, very challenging to do because the Bhopal Junction section, like I said, the train had to be, we had to make you feel like the train is of 1,000, 1,500 feet long. Babil was shooting his sections in like 100 kilometers from Bhopal in Itarsi. We actually shot in Itarsi for Bhopal sections, contrary to the story. But Itarsi has India's one of India's biggest rail repair yards, and the rail repair yards has its own tracks. See, the thing is, when we had to shoot this section where Babil is kind of going to switch the tracks, etc., we needed tracks that are in our control. Thanks and kudos to the Indian Railways. They have like the set where he kind of moves the tracks is a part of the Itarsi rail yard. So you can imagine how big the rail yard is. Maddie sir shot his sections in the train where the train is not really moving. Everything is moving in visual effects. So he's reacting to my cues. And this is intercut with KK sir trying to save that girl. And Divyendu being on the platform, hearing that this news has come. So you're keeping the emotional continuity, but also physical continuity of this entire section. So I think it was great to, like, it was a big challenge to put this all together because the show really has four of them at equal importance, like kind of doing equally important things together. Months of pre-production helped and we made it.